Escot is committed to the conservation of native species, from water voles to European beavers through dormice to red squirrels. Inspired by the Red Squirrel Project Southwest, an enthusiastic group of landowners, professionals and conservationists, Escot offered to become the public face of the project, highlighting that red squirrels will probably be extinct on mainland Britain by 2040 without our intervention. Research and fundraising has led to the construction of the second only walk-through red squirrel enclosure in the United Kingdom. The idea was pioneered by the British Wildlife Centre in Surrey, who has shared its experiences and expertise. Reds must be segregated from grey squirrels to prevent transfer of squirrel pox, a virus greys carry but are immune to, but which is fatal to reds. There is currently no vaccine against this disease. Although red squirrels have been native to the UK since the last ice age and were in ecological balance with our flora and fauna, there are now less than 40,000 reds remaining in England. Conversely, although greys were only introduced from America in the late 1800s, there are now over 3 million of them, and they are a direct threat to our trees, our small birds, our dormice and our bats. But how can you care about this threatened extinction if you don't know about it? So this is the exciting start of our red squirrel enclosure project at Escot, and we're using our own larch trees, which would have been planted about 50 years ago when there were still red squirrels just about in the county. They went extinct in the 1960s or thereabouts. So these, as saplings, may well have seen red squirrels on the ground here. The enclosure itself will be only the second one in Great Britain to be a walk-through enclosure. In other words, people will be in amongst the red squirrels rather than looking at them through wire and through an aviary. So we're very excited. So this is the site of the enclosure, which will be a free open access walk-through enclosure, and at the moment we're clearing the site for the fence line. The fence line has to have a no jump zone on the inside of it to stop the red squirrels hopefully escaping and getting into the countryside at large, where unfortunately they wouldn't survive very long because we have grey squirrels and grey squirrels would kill them. So we have to have about a 20-foot clearance area, and that's what we're doing at the moment. So we're 4 months into the project now, and things are getting really exciting. We've moved on a long way from the winter and the trees being felled for the project. The boardwalk has been completed. The perimeter fence, which is sheet metal, which squirrels can't climb, has been completed, and very soon now we will receive our first squirrels to try out the enclosure and make sure that it is indeed squirrel proof. In the meantime, the craftsmen are all continuing with various bits and pieces finishing off, and there's still bits of chainsawing, bits of electric fencing going up. The interior pen or a house pen, if you like, for receiving the squirrels has yet to be built, and once that's finished we can actually have our first squirrels here. Well, today's a really exciting day. We've finally got 2 male squirrels in the enclosure. They're in the home pen and just arrived this morning to test the system more than anything else. After 4 months of construction, we've got a very young male and an adult male. They will spend 2 weeks in the home pen, before we let them out to the wider enclosure. And again, we may not see them for a while once we do that, but we need to make sure that they don't escape through some means that we've not recognised. But I'm sure that it'll be fine. But they're here, and this is kind of one of the big landmarks in the overall project. To see the enclosure open to the public after 2 years on the drawing board, and to have built it using Escot timber, local craftsmen and in-house labour, has been immeasurably rewarding. The enclosure is free open access to the public, and to watch the joy on young and old faces when they see a red squirrel itself brings a smile. The intention is to build up to about 15 free-range reds in the enclosure and to get them as comfortable with the public as possible. They would normally spend up to 86% of their time in the canopy, compared to the heavier greys which spend 70% of their time foraging on woodland floor. The enclosure is our window for education, but it will not be part of a breeding programme, since the parentage of free-range offspring will not be recordable. In the future, as funds permit, a separate breeding facility will be built to provide top-up stock here, and for other projects, research and for possible eventual release into areas free of grey squirrels. We hope that our project will inspire residents of the southwest and further afield to unite in preventing this iconic British mammal from becoming extinct.